গুড মর্নিং এভরিওয়ান। তো এই সকালে উঠলাম, রেডি হয়ে এখন বসে আছি। ও রেডি হচ্ছে, তারপরে আমরা এখন ব্রেকফাস্ট করব। করে আজকে আমরা বস্টনটা ঘুরবো। আজকের মূল আকর্ষণ হচ্ছে বস্টনে হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটি। তো ওগুলো দেখবো, এমআইটি দেখবো। তো তারপরে বিকেলে আবার যে নিউ ইয়র্ক ফিরে যাব। তো হোটেলটা খুব ভালো, হলিডে ইন হোটেলটা খুব ভালো। তো কালকে খুব তাড়াতাড়ি এসছি হোটেলে, আর খুব ভালো কালকে ঘুরলাম। কালকের ঘোরাটাও খুব ভালো হয়েছে, তো আজকেও ঘুরবো। তো এখন চললাম রেডি হয়ে, ব্রেকফাস্ট করে বেরিয়ে যাব। চলো, দেরি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, ব্রেকফাস্টটা করে আসি। বাইরে কি ঠান্ডা আছে? ও, তাহলে তো জ্যাকেট নিতেই হবে। তো চলো ব্রেকফাস্টটা করে আসি। ও, এখানেই ব্রেকফাস্ট আছে। ব্রেকফাস্টে তো সিরিয়াল আছে, অ্যাপেল আছে, এগুলো রয়েছে। এখানে কি আছে দেখি। এখানে ব্রেকফাস্ট নিয়েছি, এখানে ব্রেকফাস্ট করবো। ব্রেকফাস্ট করছি। ওকে, একটা প্যানকেক বানাতে বললাম, জানো? ভালোই বানিয়েছে। প্যানকেকে ডিম নেই বললো, জানো তো, বানিয়ে দিল, ভালোই বানিয়ে দিচ্ছে। তো আমরা এখন বেরোলাম রেডি হয়ে। এখন আমরা যাচ্ছি, কোথায় কোথায় ঘুরছি, কি করছি সব দেখাবো। চলো তোমাদেরকে। খুব সুন্দর, বাইরে ঠান্ডা, হালকা হাওয়া দিচ্ছে। জ্যাকেট পরিনি, নিয়ে নিয়েছি সামনে, সাথে গিয়ে পরবো। বাইরের ভিউটা আরেকটু দেখাই, কি সুন্দর লাগছে। নীল আকাশ ঝকঝক করছে একদম। এটা আমাদের হোটেল। হোটেল হলিডে ইন এক্সপ্রেস। আমরা এখন চললাম, গাছের একদম দুদিকে গাছের সারি, একদম তার ফাঁক দিয়ে সূর্যের আলোটা কিরকম আসছে দেখো। আমরা এখন হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটির কাছে যাচ্ছি। এই রাস্তা দিয়ে চললাম, এখানে গাড়ি ঢুকবে না, এই হেঁটে হেঁটেই চললাম। এটা একটা ক্যাম্পাস, হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটি।
All right, welcome to Harvard, ladies and gentlemen. Like he said, my name is Lorenzo. I will be your guide today, and I'm super excited to show you guys around Harvard's amazing campus. So, on today's tour, we're going to learn a lot about Harvard history, Harvard culture, and some famous Harvardians and their connections to the school. So, we're going to get started by crossing the street over there and going to Harvard Yard, which is the old part of the campus.
Okay. হার্ভার্ডের স্টুডেন্ট ও আমাদেরকে গাইড করবে, ওর সাথে আমরা চললাম। আমরা এখন হারভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটি ভেতরে ঢুকে গেছি।
What do you study here?
I study electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. Oh, master's.
No, undergrad. What do you do? Congratulations.
Enjoying your life.
Beautiful.
আমরা ক্যাম্পাসের মধ্যে ঢুকে গেছি।
Guys, campus, and it's the oldest part of the campus. And before we continue on the tour, I want to point out something. My shirt has a little bit of a spelling error on it, right? It says Harvard instead of Harvard. They've replaced 2 of the R's with H's. And the reason for that is because here in Boston, people, they pronounce their R's a little bit differently from other people. So in Boston, instead of saying maybe, I'm going to go drive my car, they're going to say, I'm going to go drive my car. And instead of saying, oh, I'm going to go to the park, they say, I'm going to go to the park. And instead of saying, oh, you go to Harvard, they say, oh, you go to Harvard, you must be so smart. And so that's why my shirt is spelled that way. But it's spelled, of course, with R's instead of H's. And so yeah, so we're now in Harvard Yard, or Harvard Yard. And inside Harvard Yard, the majority of the buildings are actually dormitories for the first-year students. So that building in the corner under the trees is actually called Strauss Hall, and it was Mark Zuckerberg's first-year dormitory when he was a student at Harvard. And that lived there as well, who was George Washington. George Washington, right, he was the first president of the United States, but he was also the commanding general of the Continental Army before that. And so when they were fighting the British during the Revolutionary War here in Boston, they actually retreated out to Cambridge here for about 6 months. So George Washington lived in this house here for about 6 months. So that's interesting. And like I said, it's the second oldest building at Harvard.
哈佛大学里
ক্যাম্পাসের ভেতরটা কি সুন্দর গো, হ্যাঁ? এখানে এসে একটা সার্থক হলো। এখন আমরা হেঁটে চললাম।
We are in Harvard, বাবু। এই যে ছেলেটা যাচ্ছে,
হাঁটছি আমরা এখন।
ও আমাদের এখন ট্যুর গাইড, এই যে লাল টি পড়া, ওর নাম হচ্ছে লোরেনজো। ও তোর আন্ডারগ্র্যাডস করছে ইলেকট্রিক্যাল ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং। চলো পরে কথা বলছি, আমি একটু ছবি তুলে নিই, হ্যাঁ?
So you guys are noticing also that they have some things up right now. This is Johnston Gate. Johnston Gate's the oldest. Johnston. Yeah. This is Johnston Gate, the oldest gate of the yard, and it's sort of like the main entrance, right? It faces here. It's the biggest gate, and it faces the John Harvard statue. And Johnston Gate, it was built in 1889, and it was designed by the same architectural firm that designed the Boston Public Library. And the gate is really beautiful. There's actually a legend about the gate that says that you should not walk through the middle of the gate. They say you should walk through the side of the gate instead. And they say
এই যে দূরে যে ঘরটা দেখা যাচ্ছে বাড়িটা, এটা হচ্ছে হার্ভার্ড হল।
Massachusetts Hall is the oldest building to John Adams, who was the second president of the United States.
Yes.
ওকে,
It was home to John Hancock.
约翰亚当斯，约翰汉考克。
Adams, and he's an important founding father and organizer of the Boston Tea Party, and also better known by a lot of people as the guy on the beer bottles, because there's a brand.
还有山姆亚当斯，美国的也是国父之一啊。啤酒瓶子上面也有他的标志。
Exactly. Harvard. He works there, and so it's an important office building. But on the top floor, there's a 4th floor, and the 4th floor is actually a dormitory for first-year students.
是都在用，然后呢，经过了很多的修缮，然后呢，现在啊，他刚才说的
Harvard chooses which students
It
will
was
live
in
in the top
Massachusetts
floor
Hall.
because they choose where the first-year students live in general. The first-year students live in the. I actually didn't meet any of the students who lived up there.
啊，他说的什么呢？哈佛大学他会认真学习读书，早一点休息的 就绝对不是那种要开 party 的、要闹腾的、要唱歌的啊，是这种。不然的话，下面的那
In
个
Massachusetts Hall, the
所以
president's
说估计
office
也没有人
and the first year students,
住在那个上面，
they
但是没办法，你住在上面
their dormitory is on the top floor.
啊，就是这样子。
Perfect. All right. All the medical schools.
এখানে এই ম্যাপটা করে দেওয়া আছে নতুন স্টুডেন্টরা এসে যাতে এখান থেকে ইজিলি খুঁজে নিতে পারে কোথায় কি আছে না আছে হার্ভার্ড ভেতরে ক্যাম্পাসের ভেতরে হেঁটে হেঁটে যাচ্ছি দেখতে জন হার্ডওয়ার
Founder.
ইনি ফাউন্ডার জন হার্ডওয়ার দাও ওটা ধরো এই সুস্থের হাত দিলে গুড লাক ইনি হচ্ছে ফাউন্ডার জন হার্ডওয়ার সবাই এসে এখানে কাজ করে
আমি এখন জন হার্ভার্ডের স্ট্যাচু সামনে দাঁড়িয়ে আছি জন হার্ভার্ড ইজ দ্য ফাউন্ডার অফ হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটি এটা একটা বিরাট ব্যাপার
By Daniel Chester French. He's the guy who made it. Daniel Chester French is the same guy who made the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So, you know, guys sitting down, he's good at that. So they made the statue, and there are three things written on the statue here, right? It says, John Harvard, founder, 1638. But the statue is actually known as the Statue of Three Lies. There are three lies about the statue. Can you guys guess what some of the lies may be about the statue? Any guesses? Any guesses? No. No, okay. First lie. But he had no connection to this university. What happened was, this college was started by the Massachusetts Bay Colony, which is the local government of the colony that had just been started. And they made a college called College of Newtown. So it wasn't founded by Harvard, but what happened was there was a guy named John Harvard who 2 years later, he passed away. He passed away somewhere else in Charlestown, Massachusetts. And he was very generous in his will. He donated a bunch of money and books and even some cows to the new college. And so they were very grateful and they said, you know what, we'll rename it Harvard College after you. And so that's our first lie. Not the founder, it was renamed after him. Okay. Later, when John Harvard passed away, and when they renamed it at Harvard College. So the year is wrong too. The third lie though, the third lie is the most interesting lie. Are you guys ready? The third lie is that the person you see right in the statue, the face, the body, the person, is not John Harvard. He did not look like that at all. So why is it not John Harvard? It's not John Harvard because the building across from Massachusetts Hall is called Harvard Hall. You guys see the building over there? Yeah. Harvard Hall, the original building burned down in a fire completely in 1765. And unfortunately at the time they had all the books that he donated, but also all of the paintings and images of John Harvard. So after it burned down, and then they wanted to build the statue in 1884, no one knew what he looked like anymore. And so they couldn't make the statue of John Harvard. So they had a few options as to what to do instead. And they considered some options. They considered maybe trying to get one of his descendants or grandchildren, but he had no children of his own. So they actually decided to do this. This is true. This is what happened. Is that for the statue, they looked around campus at the time. They found a student who was relatively, handsome and good looking, and they said, shh, come here, don't tell anyone. And they turned around and they sculpted the student. And they didn't tell many people. And so the person you see in the statue is not John Harvard, but it's a student who was founded in 1884.
এখন ক্যাম্পাসের ভেতরটা ঘুরে ঘুরে দেখছি স্টুডেন্টরা যাচ্ছে। এই যে একটা স্টুডেন্টদের ক্যাম্পাস, ওখান থেকে আসছে স্টুডেন্টরা। কিছু দূরে দূরেই ম্যাপ দেওয়া আছে যাতে স্টুডেন্টদের কোনো অসুবিধা না হয়। আর একটা বিল্ডিংয়ে যাচ্ছি।
It's a huge building. The Science Center building. So yeah, Science Center building was apparently designed to look like a Polaroid camera because the Polaroid family donated millions of dollars to help build the building. And so the building's really huge. It has a lot of stuff. There's a library over there. In the basement, in one of the parts, it has a nano-scale facility and has lots of classrooms and laboratory equipment. And it has 8 floors. And generally speaking, the laboratory equipment becomes more and more sophisticated the higher you go up in the building, with the higher floors having more sophisticated equipment. As you can see on the top floor, right, the 8th floor, there's those 2 big telescopes. Oh, yes. And so, because of this, there's actually a theory that you can tell how smart a Harvard student is based on what floor they take the classes in the Science Center building, with higher being the smartest. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of this theory because last year I had a few math classes in the basement, so I think it must be wrong, or maybe the opposite or something like that. So yeah,
You can use scholarships and you are paying
9,000.
9,000. I mean, that's pretty good. So that means you mean to say that Harvard really is generous.
Very
for the-
generous, very
For the
generous,
students, those who are good in studies.
All of them though, I would say they want make sure everyone's good in studies to get here, and then they're generous with all the students.
Wow. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
মেমোরিয়াল। ওই যে দূরে দেখা যাচ্ছে, এটা ঠিক মেমোরিয়াল।
We've built to be actually a memorial for students and professors who died in the American Civil War. The American Civil War was the deadliest American war in history, in American history. So a lot of Harvard students and professors actually died in the Civil War, and they were very eager to build something to remember them. So they built this building in 1870, and they raised all the money to build it in just 1 year. And the building, besides being a memorial, has 2 functions. The first function is the part that sticks out towards us, that long part. It's called Annenberg Hall. Annenberg Hall is the dining hall. It's a very pretty dining hall, tall ceiling, nice windows, and people often compare it to Harry Potter because it's very pretty. And it makes sense because both the Harry Potter dining hall and this one were inspired by Christ Church, which is a building at Oxford. So they built the dining hall. The dining hall is very beautiful, but I will say the reputation of the food is it is the worst food at Harvard. So there's a balance. Very beautiful, but very bad food. So this could
Not like that.
maybe work at a shop, so the cashier, or maybe library, work in library. Then PAGA.
ভেতরে যাচ্ছি, একটু স্টুডেন্টদের আছে এখানে। আজ তো সানডে, সব বন্ধ আছে।
Oh wow. And now we're now back in the yard, and we're in the new yard here. The new yard is part of the
New Yard.
নিউ ইয়ার।
Memorial Church. It's a church that was built to memorialize students who died in World War I and World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. A lot of students named there. And these steps here actually, they look like, they don't look very impressive, but they are actually Harvard's largest stage. Because once every year, for commencement, which is graduation, they fill this area here with the trees here with 20,000 folding chairs. And it becomes Harvard's largest stage. Here? Yes, this is Harvard's largest stage. Here's where the president and the deans and the important guests will sit. And at the end of every commencement ceremony, there's one person who's chosen to give a speech. And they give the speech right here at the podium here. And so some pretty famous people have given speeches here over the years, like on these steps right here.
首先来说，这个楼呢也是。
যখন কনভোকেশন হয় স্টুডেন্টদের, তখন এই স্টেজে দাঁড়িয়ে স্টুডেন্টরা থাকে আর ওখানে সমস্ত গার্জেনরা সবাই বসে থাকে আর এখানে এই সেই স্টেজটা, এটা সেই স্টেজ, তাই না?
আর এই স্টেজেই বিল ক্লিন্টন, তোমার মার্ক জুকারবার্গ এরা সবাই স্পিচ দিয়েছিল।
He was a general.
এখন আমিও দিচ্ছি। লাইব্রেরি, এখন লাইব্রেরিতে যাচ্ছি। সামনে যে বিল্ডিংটা দেখা যাচ্ছে এটা লাইব্রেরি।
But you know what? It looks like a copy of this park. This is the orange park. This is the historical, original part of the house. So they kind of just tried to make more buildings. So is the medical school too.
Yes.
Business school. So your son did maybe a little bit closer.
好，来，我们靠近一点，靠近一点啊。
এটা হচ্ছে হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটির লাইব্রেরি।
So, this is Widener Library. The full name of the library is the Harry Elkins Widener Memorial Library. So it was named in memory of Harry Elkins Widener. Who was Harry? Harry was a student who graduated from Harvard in 1907. And what he loved to do was the largest private library collection in the whole world. It's the second largest library collection in the whole world after the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. They have so many books. And so they actually... And it was built by the emperor at the time for one of his governors as a gift. And they moved around China for quite a while, and it stayed in Beijing for a while. It was in the Summer Palace, and then the Summer Palace was destroyed in the Second Opium War. And they moved around, but then in 1936, if you guys remember, right, 1636 was the year of Harvard founding. So 1936 was the 300th anniversary. And for the 300th anniversary, China gave this as a gift to Harvard. And so it's been here ever since as a symbol for the relationship between China and Harvard.
这个东西非常的重要。
আমাদের হার্ডওয়্যার ভেতরে দেখা হয়ে গেল।
然后刚刚说了一下啊，是谁先住在里面呢？
So
住在
we
里
are
面的
with
学生有
Lorenzo.
很多，
He is
所有
doing
的
his
一年级的新生都
undergrads
会住在这里，
in
这里呢就是
electrical engineering
叫做
here in
哈
Harvard.
一年级新生的宿舍所在地。
Thank you.
在里面住过。